welcome to a special double edition. First, this is not only
Squared Circle.
the Squared Circle episode 6.
I think it's 6.
It is 6. But it's also our Grand Slam match prediction. Grand Slam taking place tonight, beginning tonight, Dynamite in New York City, and then Rampage as well Friday. Grand Slam Rampage also in New York City. Arthur Ashe Stadium. It's a big event last year. Going to be a big event tonight. But we're going to first talk about what's going on in the world of wrestling. And, we'll talk AEW. We'll push that off to the end because of the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
So I think possibly the biggest news over the last week, Ethan, is the death of NXT 2.0.
Yeah. For a minute, I thought you were going to say like the death of like a retired wrestler or something.
Well, thankfully not.
Yeah, thankfully not. But thankfully, the death of NXT 2.0 has come. It's been long awaited.
Yeah.
Since the first week they came on the air.
Yeah.
Because NXT is it was started. It was just like a developmental brand for WWE.
Mm-hmm.
It was. But a televised one, not just like FCW, which those might have been on were they on local state?
I don't know. They might have been. I didn't really watch.
I've seen some tapes of them before.
Okay,
but I don't know if they, they definitely weren't as big as NXT was. But then they started this as their developmental brand to get the wrestlers, get people talking about the wrestlers and hearing about them more. And they started. They always did a great job at creating new stars and creating new wrestlers, and building them up. They always promoted them well, and they were for a while they were the best.
Yeah,
the best of all any wrestling on TV
before
for
AEW.
A while. Before AEW, there was at this time there was no WWE alternative, which there wasn't for about 20 years.
Other than Impact and stuff, and I don't really count those or stuff overseas that we didn't watch.
Nothing that made an impact.
That's right.
No pun intended. Well, actually, there was a pun intended.
Yeah.
But like AEW did.
That's
in the
right.
Wrestling world. And NXT was kind of the best for a while. They, especially during when they came on. For a while, they were just on WWE Network. Then they actually came on TV on Wednesday nights against AEW.
Yeah.
Which even during that time, they were losing the war terribly. They only won 1 week.
Yeah. But right before AEW, you have all those excellent takeovers that they did.
Oh yeah.
And their weekly program, it was the best show for a while.
For a while, and then until AEW came in, and then it was kind of a little bit of a stalemate between the two.
It's true.
And then after that, NXT started declining just a little bit.
Yeah.
And AEW just started getting better and better and better. And for a while, AEW was just the best. NXT lost the war and moved to Tuesday nights, and they were still good, but I don't know. I just felt like they weren't as good as they were before. And then Vince McMahon took over, and they just plummeted even farther. AEW just kept getting better and better at that time, around last year. But as of recently, WWE, which has been at the bottom for a while, is starting to rise creatively.
Yeah,
it's starting to rise back up. It is right now almost better than AEW to watch. I'm really not sure. There's different things. There's a lot of things I like about WWE right now. There's a lot of things that it still doesn't compare to AEW. Some different things, match qualities in certain cases, but WWE's definitely getting a lot better. But sorry, I'm kind of talking a little too much, not letting you have.
No, that's okay.
But yeah, and then they announced NXT 2.0.
Yeah.
And it was terrible for this entire year until now. NXT Black and Gold is back. Hopefully, it'll be as good as it was at one time.
Yeah, we've talked about. There's been one letter that has changed WWE over the last 3 or 4 months, and that letter is H. 3 of them in a row. And we've talked on this program. We've talked about how Triple H has been righting some of the wrongs, bringing back superstars that were released. Changing the names of people that shouldn't have been changed, giving full names back to people who shouldn't have been shortened. And the biggest thing, probably the biggest wrong that I think over the last year is the changing of NXT. And I know there's been a lot of debate about, well, was it really Vince? Was it Bruce Pritchard? Was it just Shawn Michaels? It was clearly Vince. The color scheme, the lighting, the colors overall. The fact that it just called NXT 2.0. I mean, I thought they would just drop that out for a few weeks and just be NXT. They didn't. They really restarted and got rid of a lot of people, which is okay because there's always change, always things are in flux in NXT.
But
the whole presentation,
it was, and all the new wrestlers coming in at once. It was just overwhelming. It's like we're gonna start a brand new wrestling show and just throw in a bunch of new wrestlers and like we're gonna debut like 10 this week and act like they've always been there.
Yeah, and there's like Braun Breaker, all these they're like top guys immediately. Now we have been very, very bashing of Braun Breaker at the beginning. He's grown on me.
The name hasn't.
The name is not. I still hate Braun Breaker. But he, as a person, as a character, as a wrestler, has grown on me, and I'm fine with him now.
He's still not my favorite.
I just wish maybe he wasn't called Breaker, but whatever. But he's grown on me. There's a lot of people who have not. Tony D'Angelo and Grayson Waller and these guys, I still don't like them. But everything. It's not like they're not going to be there in the new NXT. It just the whole presentation is back, hopefully.
Yeah.
And it's going to be exciting. It was not last week. It was pre-taped. This coming week's pre-taped. On October the 4th, we're going to do a special match prediction for the re-debut of NXT Black and Gold.
Yeah, and NXT TakeOver is also on the way.
Coming up, Halloween
Havoc, which they have done Halloween Havoc events in the past,
yeah,
but only on the regular NXT
yeah, this
show.
Is going to be a pay-per-view.
They had it last year. Braun Breaker fought Ciampa, but that wasn't when he won. That was his first time.
Yeah,
he lost. Then, of course, before they had some different matches, and they also had the spin the wheel like they used to have in WCW. And they even did some of that during the Black and Gold time.
That's right.
And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what is the future going to hold, because NXT has been something that really had not had a significant change after Triple H took control back. But I feel like I've got a good feeling that we're going to start seeing that.
And it really went to NXT was the show to watch. AEW come in, that become the show to watch. But we still watch NXT, and then it was, NXT was, like you said, dropped off. When it was 2.0, it was like, after a few weeks, it was like, this is unwatchable. Some of it started to grow on me. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give some of these guys a chance. I've been doing that on and off the last couple months, but I'm very glad, and I know Ethan is, that Black and Gold will be back. Triple H back. Triple H maybe not doing the day-to-day operations. Shawn Michaels will do that, I guess, with his crew. Let's move on, though, because this is going to be a long presentation. We talked NXT. We're going to talk about another big story, and that's the potential return of Bray Wyatt. We've been talking about this for over a year, about a year. He was released, I think, last October. We thought he was going to come to AEW around Halloween last year. That didn't happen. Then we said maybe around Christmas. That didn't happen. Kind of gave up on him coming to AEW. But all the rumors that WWE is putting out is saying that he will not only be back, but this Friday on SmackDown, which is huge. Kind of surprising it's going to be on SmackDown. I don't know for sure. They've been doing these QR codes. There's the White Rabbit, which they talk about, maybe a Bray, and there's all this, this cryptic information. Then they're saying something about 9/23, which is Friday.
It's true.
What do you think about Bray Wyatt coming back? Will he be more like the first character, or more like the second character, or totally different? What do you think?
I don't know. I can think back to a couple years ago, about 2019, maybe.
Yeah,
I think it was 2019, when Bray Wyatt made his return.
Yeah,
and became the Fiend Bray Wyatt, which attracted a lot of attention in the wrestling world. People love Bray Wyatt, and it was not long before he got the World Championship back. And he had probably the best run of his career, I would say, because he was champion.
Okay.
At least at the beginning. And then he's kind of, I guess people started getting tired of him. And he wasn't doing as well through some storylines and different things. But he brought a lot of attention, kind of reshaped his character. And what they've been saying about the White Rabbit, didn't you say something like he used to have like a rabbit?
Well, he had the rabbit in the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah.
And there's different. I don't know all the storyline as far as that's concerned, because I think Karrion Kross did some kind of something with a White Rabbit.
Yeah.
Before he was in WWE, and I don't know that story. Just was reading about it. So then people say, well, maybe it's just gonna be Karrion Kross doing something because he's already on SmackDown.
Or maybe Karrion Kross and Bray Wyatt could join forces.
Could.
They both kind of have like darker characters.
Yep.
You never.
It'll be interesting to see.
Like
I don't always watch SmackDown, but I'm going to have to at least tune in a little bit to find out what happens this Friday night. So that's going to be cool. So we talked NXT, we talked Bray Wyatt.
We can talk about...
There's really not a lot to talk about as far as Extreme Rules is concerned. I don't think the card has really been put together enough to really even make mention of it. There's just a few matches.
Maybe we could just talk about some storylines kind of culminating right now in WWE, and we could talk about looking ahead, not knowing what the matches are going to be. Let's make some assumptions.
Make some assumptions about Extreme Rules?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's something that comes to mind. A very interesting storyline that has been something that has gotten our attention over the past couple weeks, and that is Dexter Lumis and The Miz. I could see that match happening in Extreme Rules.
I sure could.
Yeah.
I think that's something that'll happen. I think we might get Gargano versus Austin Theory.
Yeah.
They're kind of leading toward that. Another thing we ought to mention, as we're talking about Extreme Rules, the next event, Crown Jewel, they've already announced that, of course, in Saudi Arabia. Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. On paper, that doesn't sound good.
It doesn't.
I see maybe why they're doing it. He's a bigger name. I hear that the officials there want somebody like a celebrity type person to be there. Yeah. So the reality is Roman Reigns is not going to lose. It doesn't matter who he's fighting, whether that's Kevin Owens or that's Seth Rollins. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of those guys deserve him more than Logan Paul.
They definitely do.
And then another thing, as we move forward past that, huge news announced yesterday: Survivor Series.
Oh yeah,
War Games.
Something we've never seen before in WWE.
That's right. And I remember watching the old War Games, the WCW ones, and then of course NXT has done them,
and they took it to the next level. I feel like.
Yeah,
all the ones I watched in the past.
Oh yeah.
Did not compare to NXT because, when you look back at older matches, the match quality was never as good as it is now, especially in AEW and NXT 1.0, especially.
You think about the Undisputed Era and all these guys that were in those, and the old NXT ones are so much better than anything WCW did. Maybe the beginnings with the Road Warriors and Dusty and all that stuff because it was just classic NWA, but still, match quality wise, it doesn't compare.
No.
And so it's going to be interesting to see. There's going to be a girls' one. There's going to be a guys' one. I'm very thankful we've moved past the Raw versus SmackDown. We've seen this for 20 years.
I don't really care.
And do something fresh. Triple H says it's going to be storyline driven.
I'd love to see.
Which is refreshing.
I'd love to see bringing back the old Survivor Series with the teams.
Yeah.
I know that, like you've said before, sometimes it's harder to promote matches like that, and that's why they start adding world title matches. And they can still have a world title match, maybe some other singles matches in there, a tag title match or something. But they need to bring back like the Survivor Series and the Sole Survivors match, which they really only did like once or twice.
Yeah, I think it was either. Would it be Survivor Series 90 when they had the Sole Survivors match? I think it was. Is it 90 or 91? I'm pretty sure it was 90. It was 90. Yeah, to me it was one of the best ones ever. I mean, it's kind of predictable because it was Hogan Warrior and all that stuff. But still, as a kid, I love that. Will they go back to that? I don't know. But I do love that they've got, as over the next couple of weeks, we'll talk more about War Games coming to WWE.
It's exciting. Who do you think is going to be in it?
I could see like Bloodline involved, maybe Judgment Day, taking on Ray and Edge and maybe AJ. They kind of teased that last night. AJ and Finn feuding. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. I'm sure Damage Control is going to be the girls' match.
Probably.
Somehow. I don't know.
Do you think they'll do it more like what they usually do, a 4-on-4, or do you think maybe they'll do a 3-on-3-on-3 like they did at the start?
I think it'll be 5-on-5.
5-on-5?
They like to do that. It used to be Survivor Series matches. Of course, at one time they were multiple, and then they were kind of like 4-on-4 forever, and then they've been 5-on-5 forever. And then I think
here's one thing though,
they have done
AEW War Games matches have been 5-on-5, but I don't know if WWE's ever had a 5-on-5. I'm pretty sure it's always been like 4-on-4 era. It was always ended. Yeah. And they might have had a 3-3-3.
Well, it could be.
But who knows? They might change it up.
I just feel like they'll do 5-on-5 just to get more people in.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Now, there is an event that's been comparable to that. This is newsworthy as well, and that's AEW Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
Which this year's was okay.
Yeah.
The first one, I don't know. The one that was in like an empty arena, It's empty arena, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But this week, somebody in an interview asked Triple H, new era, will Blood be coming back to WWE? And he pretty much said, we've moved past Blood.
Wow.
That's not coming back.
That's surprising.
Said we had it at one time. Of course, when he was in his prime, Attitude Era, there's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
But he said, we've moved past that, and we're not going back to that. He said, when somebody bleeds, we kind of take them aside and kind of... I don't know. I like the blood a little bit, but maybe that's just me being
I understand.
a fan and,
Because it makes it seem more like,
But
a tough...
I think it's just, he said something like, these guys are already putting themselves
Right.
on the line. Their bodies, their careers. Why do that? Because they're not really, they're making themselves bleed.
Right.
It's interesting. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of comment on that. I wish that there was a little bit of it.
Yeah. There doesn't always have to be blood. Like sometimes AEW might have blood every match.
Yeah.
They usually don't do that, but it's good to have blood every once in a while just to make it, look like they're, they're fighting even harder than.
That's right. Well, that's going to kind of conclude part 1. This is the Squared Circle, episode 6. Just kind of some of our thoughts and things going on in the world of wrestling.